listening to their own music internally.
¡Ay, qué buena onda! La vida pura. Oh my goodness. That was in honor of Cinco de Mayo, Me Gustas Tú, by who? I don't have that on mine. Yeah. By who?
Me Gustas Tú by Mano Chao.
Thank you very much. I have the
I Like You.
yeah, I like it too, baby. Well, that was fantastic to talk to Lenny Mana Hoppenworth again, and talk about Indivisible. What we have here in front of us, again, I'm so happy to have an all-female show. Yay!
Except for a couple of dude
You guys.
hosts.
Except for those guys who I work with all the time. Anyway, I think I'm not on the mic.
You are.
Okay, I am. I can't hear myself. Nicole Hollander and Kate Hill, host and producer, Louder Than a Mom, which is kind of a play on Louder Than a Bomb.
It
Yeah.
is.
So we're gonna welcome to Live from the Heartland
Thanks
first.
for having us. We're happy to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thanks for getting up early and coming down to the studio. So tell us, what the heck is Louder Than a Mom? How did it come to be? Let's start with that.
It's a storytelling event held the third Monday of every month at Martyrs. And it kind of came to be, I'm going to keep it as short as I can. My friend Terry Murray said, my friend Terry and I had children at the same school, Cadian School, Bell.
Oh,
And
that's my
we would
kid.
Call, yeah, we would call
Bell
each other
School, great
after
school.
drop off in the morning and kind of try and make each other feel better about our terrible parenting abilities. So we would say, oh, I yelled at my kid, I beat my kid, whatever.
God,
And we'd
we're
laugh
hard
and
on
say,
ourselves.
oh my God, whatever. We're great people and ha ha ha, whatever, and get on with our days. And one day Terry called me and said her daughter was doing Louder Than a Bomb, and she said to her daughter, I'm going to get all the mothers together, call it Louder Than a Mom, and we're going to complain about our kids. And when she told me that in our little morning chat, I was like, oh my God, that's a name. That's the name of our movie. We gotta hold on to that. Flash forward a couple of years, I ran into my old friend Dee Ryan, who I had done sketch comedy with, and I said, I've got a title, but I don't know what it is. And this is how it came about. Terry and I were just sharing terrible parenting, incidents, and we would laugh and feel better about it. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, is that maybe what it is? So we decided just to go with a storytelling thing, mostly to give voice to people who are voiceless mothers, because mothers are completely invisible. And we just kind of threw it out there, gathered a couple of friends and family, and we did a couple of shows. And then our friend Karen Carter introduced us to Nicole, and she's
Who
like,
has nothing to do with being a mom, yet they allowed me in.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So it was not really about mothers, but
No.
it was about sharing stories and building a community. And all these years later, 4 years later, we've got this amazing, massive community that really has nothing to do with being a loud mother.
No, the other thing is that they always give a theme.
Uh-huh.
This is a theme, and that's the theme that I like to ignore completely when I get up and do
As Nicole
something.
does, she does it so well.
So you've got an anarchist on your hands.
Oh yeah,
Or
many.
two, or three, or four, yeah. I met June Hewitt at the Goodman Theater training session. They have them all over at centers, and you tell stories, and you're sort of organized and directed, and then there too, you ignore everything and you get up there. And we've been doing this for some time, and I looked at her and said, boy, I like your work. She said, I like your work. And we decided to do it together.
Wow.
So we get up in front of the audience and do the theme or our approximation of the theme together.
So for those of you listening who go, Nicole Hollander, where have I heard that name before? Where you've heard it is the byline of Sylvia, an incredibly popular and wonderful comic series how do you call it?
Cartoon strips.
Syndicated
Yeah.
in the Tribune.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right, right.
Oh,
30
oh,
Big
years.
time.
So we'll go more into Sylvia, but that's just, I just wanted to mention, that's who we're talking to here, as well as talking to Kate Hill. Kate, I want to go back to, where did you do stand-up comedy?
I didn't do stand-up. I did sketch comedy, and Dee and I were in a group called Nude Coffee 100 years ago,
Okay.
in the early 90s, and we did it at the Improv on Wells, the
Wow,
old Improv,
impressive.
if anyone remembers that.
I just wanted to
so we
get
were
that
the
out
first
there.
all-female sketch comedy troupe
Sweet.
called Nude Coffee.
Well, tell us too a little briefly about your other work. Besides putting on Louder Than a Mom, you have a club.
I do, yeah, Martyrs. So,
Oh, that's
we have
your-
we've got a music venue on the north side, 3855 North Lincoln. 23, almost 24 years of providing some of the best music.
And you've got a
experience
kid in a
Chicago.
band, and his name is up on the wall here.
Yeah,
as I
I
understand.
got all three of my kids are in bands, but yeah, the unknowns, the now broken up punk, amazing.
So why
punk
do you
rock
think
band.
storytelling has sort of taken off the last 10 or 20 years? I have my own theory that Ira Glass kind of popularized
Yeah, he
people
did, yeah.
sitting and listening for more than 30 seconds at something. But
Yes.
beyond his particular style, it just seems to have exploded. I noticed in a quick trip through the YouTube takes of your show at Martyrs that there are a lot of Moss Radio type people that
Yes.
end up appearing. So obviously there's a circuit, but you're also having regular people. Why has storytelling become the thing?
I don't know, but I'm really glad. Because there was Sylvia, and she told stories, and they were of a different style and quick,
Yeah,
And the
right.
punchline, it's blah, 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 and then the punchline,
Plus that visible thing.
yeah, of cats and talking to the TV.
Cats
in
and plants.
armchairs.
Yeah, anything that could talk would talk, so you can tell about storytelling.
Yeah. Well, storytelling, we all have stories. We all have, and part of what storytelling does, I think, is connect us with like-minded people, or even just people in general. And, computers have taken over, the internet has taken over. We don't get together. There are no, there's no pub, there's no plaza. So people gather and share stories about their
Yeah.
lives, and I think we can all connect with almost any story, even a terrible story. It's like,
Yeah, this is the pub for us.
Yeah,
I wonder
it is,
I wonder
you know?
if, mentioning that, if it became popular because as we got older and couldn't hold our own at a pub for as long
Yeah.
anymore, that we've got a different version of self-entertainment
Right.
that is a little kinder to the Constitution, as it were,
It
than
is.
drinking all night and other things, whatever.
It is, and everyone gets like their little moment,
Uh-huh.
on stage or in front of a microphone or whatever, and they get to share part of their lives. And
We're not talking on the phone. We are not
Yeah.
listening to the phone. We are sitting in an audience and drinking in everything that these people say. And everything's a surprise.
Yeah.
Suddenly someone comes up and tells a story.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Well, there are a number of places around town that are doing storytelling.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
There's
it's
been
like,
lots.
and then we've had a couple of wonderful storytellers on the show. We've had Sue Halloran, and we've had Mike McCarty, and I know my daughter Koya Paz did one up at the Glenwood at the bar. There was a storytelling series.
Dorothy Milne and the girls.
Oh, yeah, sure.
She's at Lifeline Theater.
Yeah.
I actually was at the nail salon, believe it or not, see my toes, the other day. And
Fabulous.
Dorothy walks in with two of her cohorts from Lifeline Theater, and she brings a bottle of wine, and the woman who runs the nail salon supplies the wine glasses. I'm like, I gotta come here with you guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, there's a feminist aspect to what I hear you saying, particularly when you start out saying, moms absolutely require other moms to bounce off their experiences. I have recently been binge watching Call the Midwives. And it's such a dip into the feminist heart and of the world. And so do you feel how essential the conversation that a woman-run conversation is to people?
Yeah, I think I think women can change the world, you
Yeah.
know, just, and I don't know if it's, you know, capacity issues or just being able to, you know, to relate, you know, like looking beyond their own worlds, you know.
But it is their own
women's
world,
voice,
too.
but women's voice, I think, is really important to running the world.
Yeah,
You know?
without my mother and her pals, there would have been no Sylvia.
Yeah,
You know,
great.
we were there, the kids were there. These
Observing.
3 women all had girls within a year of each other. They married guys who went to the same social club. The men did not speak from one year to the next. They were very quiet. And so we sat and had lunch. If we were quiet, we could sit there and listen to them. So we were really careful about not interfering.
Yeah.
And listening.
And listening
And then-
and getting all that sound of how they dissed everyone.
When was the first Sylvia, and how did you come up with the name? And give us a little background on
Yeah,
the start of your wonderful cartoon series.
We haven't even mentioned this yet. We gotta
Yeah.
remember.
We'll get there.
In 1980 was the first cartoon. And I got into, one time, what was first? Sherry Height. Do you remember she did
Yeah,
a
I know
book,
that name.
you know?
Yeah.
A sex book. And so suddenly,
Oh,
you
sure,
know,
sex
yeah,
book.
Yeah, everybody's slightly interested. So, so
Yeah.
this woman from New York calls me. She's the editor of Sherry Height, and she says, "I want to do a book of your cartoons," because I was working for the spokeswoman then, and that was a feminist newsletter,
Oh,
and
right.
that came out monthly.
So that's where Sylvia first
That's-
appeared.
Yeah, the very first.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, the very first cartoon was a man and a woman are sitting in front of cherry pies. And the man has a bigger piece, the woman has a little piece. She
Oh, just like home.
Yeah, she points him to the sky. He looks away, she takes his piece. So, I mean, that was the whole, that is the whole thing.
Hey, look over there.
Before we talk about the book, what did you think of Michelle Wolf's performance last week?
Oh, I loved it. I thought she was spot on. She was brilliant.
I like her very much.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I think
God,
she's
she
really
she's
great. She's
smart.
adorable too, yeah.
But
she
the
was
but the
biting.
reaction.
Oh, but
Oh,
no one spoke. I mean, they were like so tight, those people watching.
Yeah.
So ugly, so thin-mouthed, all of them.
It was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And I thought their reaction was very telling and demonstrated a lot about that inside the Beltway bubble that
Yeah.
they're all part of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they're
Feeding
all
off
part
each
of.
other.
Yeah.
That-
And they're normalizing this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
And I think she just cut through it. I mean, there was no one unscathed by her.
Nobody.
Right.
And,
She-
and they were brilliant jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, she's
Brilliant
very
jokes.
good.
She took a lot of heat, but all the late night guys came to her rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In defense.
That's right, right?
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of just regular people, I follow her now. I'm like, Michelle Wolf, I love her.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So-
she was great.
Let's get back to one of the reasons that we're here today is that Nicole's got a new book out, and you're going to be reading from it at one of the next
Yeah,
Martyrs
Martyrs.
events.
Yeah, on May
so let's
21st.
yeah talk about
Hold that book up when you're talking so I can
Indeed.
get a good view of it.
There we
There
go.
we go.
So
Because
it's
this is
called
on
We
video too, you know.
We Ate Wonder Bread.
All right. Tell us about the book.
I got a residency in Lake Forest at Ragdale. And they put me in a fabulous building, and I came there with big sheets of paper and charcoal, and I just drew all day for 2 weeks.
Dang,
You
girl.
know, and looked out over the prairie, and eventually, 2 years later, it came into a book.
But that 2 weeks was the kickoff.
Oh yeah, it really was.
See, that's I pay attention to that as a potential writer of books.
Oh, yeah.
You do have to have a concentrated
Time.
gift of time.
And people are there, they're all doing it. They're all working, and you talk to them at dinner, and then you go off. and do
Sweet.
your own thing, and it's wonderful.
Tell us a little bit about the truth about growing up on the west side where you ate Wonder Bread.
The truth of it is that we lived in the one building that was Jewish. We lived in the smaller apartments. That was the distinction, and
Hence the Wonder Bread.
yeah. And there was a corner store, a mom and pop corner store.
Where on the west side?
It was right above the Congress Expressway. It was Congress and Springfield. And our building, the courtyard, had 3914 West Congress. And that's how I found the germ of the story. I looked it up on Google. I didn't realize my building was still there.
I would have
And it was
go
just-
drive by.
Yeah. it
Use
was-
that camera, take a picture.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and it all comes back. And even if it doesn't all come back, you could say it did.
What's the diciest thing in your book from your memoir?
I think the diciest thing is that people. I put some things in the book that people they were so gentle in a way then. People didn't say really ugly things to each other.
That's true.
And people watched out for the kids. I mean, it's not like they were kind and loving to them, but they were there.
That's right.
And we slept in the dining room. All the kids, and the woman upstairs who I write about who loved men. Her parents thought they could protect her from being a bad girl. Well, she was born a bad girl. And they made her a beautiful room, the curtains were shantung, the rug was wall to wall, and still she had nude pictures taken of herself in her bedroom. But that kind of situation was that she came, I could hear her crying because I was in the dining room
Wow.
and sobbing, because she saw the pictures. But my dad, who was a bit of a bad boy, said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of her." So her life was not ruined.
The
Wow.
cover graphic of your book, We Ate Wonder Bread,
Yes.
really caught my eye.
Yes,
There's a very
caught your eye.
I mean, it was
So
clearly
to speak.
a Sylvia graphic, except it had a very Picasso feel to it.
Yes, true.
Thank you, yes.
And I have to mention that, having just brought a whole group of Chinese health professionals through the Art Institute a couple of evenings ago, and you get to this one gallery in the modern wing where you have the very traditional Picasso mother and child Madonna scene on one wall, kind of a pinkish famous, and on the other one is one of his totally exploded abstract, but it's a woman, and I'm just fascinated with how your style has evolved. Were you conscious of that when you brought that pad of paper and charcoal to your retreat? Was there a particular thing you were trying to do with your art?
Now, I was thinking of the story of my childhood and the characters in it, but you take a piece of charcoal and you have paper that's so big and you're so small and you just start doing it, and you don't hold anything back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, I don't know if you're prepared to, but while we remind people of your appearance, do you want to read something, a little piece of your book?
Sure.
So, tell
What
us
would you-
when she's coming on and where.
So Nicole's going to be doing a reading and book signing on May 21st at 7 p.m. at Martyrs, 3855 North Lincoln. So she'll be on stage doing some readings, excerpts, and then we'll have the books for sale afterwards. And
is
then
that-
after that, we'll have a regular Louder Than a Mom, where she and her reading and writing partner June are going to be one of the 8 storytellers that we have. So
Sweet.
I'm pretty excited about that.
So it is one of the regular meetings of Louder Than a Mom.
It'll be a regular Louder Than a Mom. We've got some really great storytellers: Eddie Johnson, Watson, and Jimmy Crane.
That's-
Funny guy.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
So have you found something, Nicole?
Yeah, well, you might want to hear about my dad.
Okay.
There's a uniformed policeman coming up the walk in the courtyard of our yellow brick building on Congress Street. I ask a neighbor what's happening. Quick as a whip, she says, "He's selling tickets to the policeman's ball." Why was I cautious? Did I have a feeling of impending disaster? Or did the sight of a policeman make her lie automatically to protect me. My father had a number of bad habits. One was to graciously accept a speeding ticket from a policeman through his roll-down window and then tear it into many tiny pieces and throw it out the window in time for the policeman to see the pieces flutter into the air. It was a spectacle, satisfying in that it confirmed my father was afraid of nothing.
Oh, you're not going to go further, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go
Keep
a little
going.
further. Let's give us a little more taste.
Or at least my father gave no thought to the results of his actions. Yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, it formed me.
Hmm.
I think it was this kind of behavior that made me think he was a god. He was a fearsome god also, with a bad temper. Once I told him to go to hell. I'm not scared of you. Well, of course I was. He smiled a scary smile and asked my aunt, "Did you hear that?" She said, "I'm sure she didn't mean it." On weekends, my father liked to drive. He drove out to the country. I don't know if he had any idea where he was going. Movement was the thing. To us, getting out of the house without a terrible scene was the thing. This was rare. I remember what I'm wearing on this weekend because it is the occasion for an outburst. I'm wearing a navy blue suit and a white blouse with a large collar. The blouse has cuffs. I remember the outfit and my hairstyle because I have a studio portrait of it. It must have been my graduation outfit. My father notices that the collar and cuffs are not clean. He begins to shout that they have to be taken off and ironed. The amazing part of the story is that he removes them all, washes them right there, and irons them. And my mother is never asked to do a thing because she would not be capable of taking those cuffs off and washing and ironing them. But we had to wait for the moment in which he would get over how furious he was at us and at her, and we would be ready to go out and have a trip.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that. This is Nicole Hollander and Kate Hill talking about both Nicole's book she just read from, which is called We Ate Wonder Bread, and Kate Hill's production of a regular monthly production of Louder Than a Mom at Martyrs on Lincoln Avenue. I want to just a different territory a little bit, because we are all of a certain age here around this table, and more
The
so.
oldest, I bet.
A variety, yes. Michael gets the prize, maybe. I feel like we are all involved in one way or another of reinventing our lives to a certain extent.
That's true.
And I think I want to say bravo to everybody for figuring out ways to do it. You with Louder Than a Mom at Martyrs and
Yeah.
picking up storytelling and providing that space for people, which is huge. I know that from having provided a space for many years, that community needs spaces to
Yes.
gather in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And artistry and creativity need to ooze out of us.
I'm grateful to her, really, and for that space so much.
Exactly. So how do we feel like our communities, do we feel like supported in those endeavors? Or do we have to create the support? Or where do we go for support to keep creating ourselves and recreating ourselves?
Well, it seems to me like it's very well supported, but I think in anything that's living, it's always changing and it's always moving, and you just have to kind of keep at it to keep it fresh and interesting. From a producer's point of view, I'm always looking for new horizons and like oh, what else can we do? How can we make it better? How can we refine it in a way, even though it's
Sure.
not really refining it, because Nicole said we never know what we're going to get. We don't know if we're going to fall off our chairs laughing or
I
sob,
think
yeah,
we can
with
relate to
stories.
that.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, yeah, and I think with young people that are just so tech savvy, and I'm way less so. Feel like I'm scrambling, but not really. I feel like I've,
Because the
like the
content,
hanger. I've
right?
got a hook in there somewhere, and I'm constantly thinking about ways to to
Yeah.
connect with other
And
people.
people of a certain age. The first time I went there, there was a very young audience.
Yeah,
And,
we're all over the place.
but they all remember this stuff that I'm talking about. This fantasy that you have about this man or this woman. And people relate to it, and it's okay. They let you do it.
I think you've hit on a key thing, because it is not to do with age.
Right.
When Lenny, our first guest, was talking about Indivisible and the folks who have come into political activism for the first time in the past 2 years, that's many ages
Yeah.
represented, and especially a lot of young people, thank God.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know that your audience at Martyrs is, as well as people our age, which I'm glad to hear, mostly a lot of young people, right?
Yeah, mostly,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say.
Yeah. And so it is universal. So we don't have to feel like we're old and in the way, right?
No.
No, I think that may have been true for earlier generations, but I think that whether because some of us are healthier, some of us are have kids who are involved.
That's right.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of activist old folks right now.
Yeah.
Older people or aging people.
Because we have more time to be.
Yeah, and this is the time we have to, be glad for what we've done and pass some stuff on and listen to the new stuff and, chip in with comments wherever it's appropriate.
Yeah.
It is give back time.
Absolutely.
That's a good term.
It
Give
seems
back
to me
time.
like we're not ready to sit down yet.
No.
Heck no.
We're still walking.
Actually,
We're
I
still
feel like
running,
if I sit down, that's kind of the end.
Yeah, right?
I feel like it's use it or lose it time.
I have to tell you, I saw the documentary on Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know,
how
and-
is it?
and-
Notorious RBG.
Oh,
I love her lifting weights.
Wonderful, and she says, well, when I can't do it anymore, then I'll stop. She's gonna be the judge of when she can't do it anymore.
Right.
And she's still going.
Right.
Yeah, I loved watching her with their dumbbells.
I know.
Oh,
Working
yeah.
out with
Oh,
the
yeah.
dumbbells. Now, people got to get it. If you move your body, whether it's swimming, walking, running, biking, lifting weights, stretching, it's crucial.
That's
Yeah.
Michael's credo, and he's a good proof of it.
It's that or
Yeah.
just sink into the earth.
True that.
Yeah.
So the book is We Ate Wonder Bread, and Nicole Hollander will be reading from it at Martyrs on,
May 21st.
May
at
21st.
7 o'clock.
and we really appreciate having both her and Kate Hill here to talk about Louder Than a Mom, and it's a wonderful storytelling series that's there every month, and it features wonderful personalities like Nicole Hollander. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
tonight.
Martyrs
so
at
much.
3855 North Lincoln Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Next week we're going to have Rourke Frankel and Mike Stroutmanis of the Obama Center plans. We also have very exciting our good friend Russ Bradberg, author of All the Dreams We've Dreamed, and probably Sean Harrington with him.
Who is in the book, yeah.
Who is in the book, who is a major, he's the star of the book, right? Many thanks to our music producer, Lynn Orman, and our engineers, Andrew Moreno, and today, Dan Kugler. Let's hear it for Dan.
We love having Dan here.
We do indeed.
There he is. Wave, Dan.
Yeah, see everybody say hi to Dan.
Hi.
Please like us on Facebook at Live from the Heartland, and do good in the world. The world needs all the good that you do.
All
Power to the people. Over and out.
Thank you.